and Pakistan. So India and Pakistan were partitioned when India got independence, as we know, in 14th August 1947. Since then, these two countries have a very conflicting relationship. Kashmir is the main issue for conflict between the two countries, that means India and Pakistan. Despite the bitter relations between the two countries, a number of treaties and agreements have been signed. For example, the Indus Water Treaty was signed in 1960, but till date the Kashmir issue could not be solved, and the problem is till today a burning issue. Talking about India-Pakistan war in 1965, so soon after Lal Bahadur Shastri became the Prime Minister of India in 1965, tension arose between India and Pakistan. Pakistan attacked India in April 1965 through the run of Kutch of Gujarat. In the month of August-September, Pakistan attached its army to various areas of India. For example, it also attacked in Kashmir. Pakistan expected to get the support of local people of Kashmir, but it did not happen. Shastri commanded Indian army to attack from Punjab frontier. As the situation worsened, UN made the two countries declare an end to the war on 20th September 1965. You should remember the day. In January 1966, Soviet Union mediated the signing of a treaty between Shastri and General Ayub Khan in Tashkent, which is popularly known as Tashkent Agreement. So, what we find here, the relationship between our neighbor, India and its neighbor states. So, first of all, we discuss about China. We find, although there is a diplomatic relation, trying to improve the relationship between India and China, the foreign ministers and other prime ministers are relatively trying to improve the relations from Indian side especially, and we hope that the relation will be better. In Tashkent Agreement, what we find that Soviet Russia act as a middleman to solve the problem, whereas Tashkent signed or agreement was signed the situation to control the problem of India and Pakistan's relationship, and it was signed in Tashkent. Later on, what we find, like Bangladesh war in 1971, Pakistan was divided into two areas like East Pakistan and West Pakistan, as you know that, and East Pakistan today is formed as Bangladesh. The culture of East Pakistan was similar to India actually. A huge crisis arose in the internal politics of Pakistan in 1970s. The people of East Pakistan opposed the imposition of Urdu on them, the language Urdu as official on them, because they are usually familiar with the Bengali language. They also felt that West Pakistan treated them like a colony. In the first general election, Zulfikar Bhutto's party won in West Pakistan and Sheikh Mujibur Rahman's Awami League won in East Pakistan. Awami League's victory was not accepted, and their demand for a federal structure was declined. What we find in 1971, West Pakistan government arrested Sheikh Mujibur Rahman. This led to the movement for a separate sovereign country, Bangladesh in East Pakistan. Pakistan tried to suppress this movement brutally. India extended ideological and different types of support to Bangladesh War of Freedom. Pakistan accused that India was trying to split the country. Pakistan asked for help from US and China to suppress the freedom struggle of people of East Pakistan, and they got it. Henry Kissinger, advisor to the US President Richard Nixon, is said to have visited Pakistan and China in 1971. India had to sign the 20 years peace and friendship treaty with Soviet Union to gain its support. A full-fledged war between India and Pakistan began in December 1971. On 3rd December, Pakistan attacked Punjab and Kashmir through air and land. Indian Army strike back within 3 days. Indian Army, Indian Army surrounded the Dhaka city from 3 sides. Pakistan faced defeat. Around 90,000 Pakistani soldiers had to surrender here. In this war, Bangladesh people supported Indian Army. East Pakistan became a new free and independent country called Bangladesh. After this, India declared a ceasefire. General Niazi had to sign the paper for surrender. Indira Gandhi called a conference in Shimla in 1972 to discuss the problems of India and Pakistan. This conference led to the signing of Shimla Pact. So here we find another pact, Shimla Pact. So it is also to solve the relationship between India and Pakistan over the issues of war and other things, which we find just sometimes before that Bangladesh war. So relatively, war shouldn't be the ultimate solution. That was the main motto. Some important provisions of the Shimla Pact are like, for example, both the countries will solve disputes through peaceful bilateral negotiations. Then we should say that next point, both the countries will respect each other's territorial integrity, national unity, political independence and sovereignty. Then both the countries will not use force against the geographical unity of each other. And Pakistan intensified conflicts even after signing the Shimla Pact. It is to be noted that India has never initiated conflict with Pakistan. Actually, Pakistan has been engaging or encouraging insurgency in Jammu Kashmir in many ways. Pakistan is accused of being involved in Mumbai or other areas' chaos or crisis. Even in a situation of 1993 and 1999, where we find Kargil War in 1999 and 2001, and various types of attacks and other situations. Recent times we find problems, strikes and other things due to this tense relationship between the two countries. Although we need to solve this, because we need to remain neighbor as long as the earth is existed, because geographical situation you can't change it either. So if sovereignty change, then it can only change. Then another situation, we should negotiate and make good bond, and through friendship we can live together. The countries live together. Finally, India's nuclear policy we should read in this chapter, and it is another important feature of India's foreign policy. You should understand it, and it is actually a strong policy so that it can empower itself. Pandit Nehru gave a lot of importance to science and technology. India was lucky to have scientists like Homi Jahangir Baba and others. You know better. Nehru opposed the use of nuclear weapons, and hence he opposed a comprehensive nuclear disarmament. Whereas China carried on nuclear tests in October 1964. During these times, there was a nuclear arms race. At this time, UN asked countries to sign nuclear non-proliferation treaty. You find in your first chapter. But India did not sign this treaty because it found it discriminatory. Whereas we should see that India signed partial test ban treaty in 1963. India was the first country to demand for a stop to nuclear testing. You should know that line. India carried on 2 nuclear tests in 1974 and 1998, both in Pokhran, Rajasthan. India had to face a lot of criticisms after the tests. US and Japan even put economic sanctions on India for a brief period of time. In 1999, India started a doctrine on the principle of credible minimum deterrence. India declared that it will never use nuclear weapon in the first level. If any country attack, then it can use. It is a matter of choice, but India never declared that it will never use nuclear weapon in the first level. In 2003, India set up the Strategic Nuclear Command. India is a member of International Atomic Energy Agency (IAEA), and India has also not signed the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty. India supports the production of use of nuclear energy for peaceful purpose, and it is really important line that India never wants to use nuclear energy for any destructive or warlike situations. It preserves its nuclear energy for its betterment, for its development of the nation, and it never uses nuclear in the first level. If any country attack, then possibly it can repeat it, but that's a matter of choice. So that's all for this class. You must understand India's nuclear policy, and nuclear policy is a good choice for its foreign policy. So that's all for today. Ajke chuti.